I always thought my life was perfect. Every morning, I woke up next to Clarissa, her smile bright enough to erase any lingering fatigue. "Morning, love," she said, brushing her hair back as I entered the kitchen. "Morning," I replied, kissing her cheek. "Coffee ready?" "Of course." "You're spoiled," she laughed. I grinned. Moments like these made me believe I had everything under control. And I did, or so I thought. Victor, my business partner and closest friend since college, stopped by that morning. "Hey, boss," he said casually, ruffling my shoulder. "Ready for the meeting?" "Yeah, just need to grab my notes," I said. Victor's presence always calmed me. He was loyal, sharp, and reliable. I trusted him completely. Clarissa watched him with a faint smile, but there was something in her eyes I couldn't place. I brushed it off. "You two get along fine," I said lightly. "Don't look at me like that." "Don't worry," Victor said, chuckling. "Clarissa and I have nothing to scheme about." I laughed along, but a tiny voice in my head nagged. I ignored it. How could I suspect them? Not when they'd been so close for years. Later that day, I checked our accounts. Something felt off. A chunk of funds was missing. I frowned, scrolling through the numbers. "Victor," I called into his office. "Did you authorize these transfers?" "Transfers?" He frowned, leaning back in his chair. "I don't think so." "Let me see." I handed him the printouts. He scanned them, eyebrows knitting together. "That's strange, really strange," he murmured. "Strange enough to explain?" I asked, my voice tightening. Victor hesitated. "I'll look into it." "Maybe a bank error?" I nodded, trying to remain calm. "Okay, but check it immediately." That evening, I confronted Clarissa. She was sitting on the couch, scrolling through her phone. "Clarissa, did you touch the company accounts?" She looked up, eyes wide. "What? No. Why would I?" "Stop lying." "I have the numbers right here," I said, slamming the statement on the coffee table. Her face changed, a flicker of panic. I can explain." I leaned in, voice low. "Explain what?" "How you and Victor planned this. How you thought you could take everything from me." Clarissa's lips quivered. "It's not what you think." "Oh, really?" I shouted. "The missing funds, the secret meetings, the transfers, how do you explain that?" She said nothing. Victor stepped into the doorway, arms crossed. We didn't think you'd notice this fast," he admitted, voice tight. I felt my chest tighten. Betrayal. Shock. The world blurred around me. "You, both, how could you?" Clarissa's tears fell freely now. I wanted to secure our future. I thought. You thought. I cut her off. You thought stealing from me, betraying my trust, plotting with my best friend, was acceptable? Victor's shoulders slumped. "We miscalculated." "Miscalculated?" My voice cracked. "You ruined me. Everything I built, gone." They didn't respond. Their arrogance had dissolved into guilt, but it was too late. I felt powerless, humiliated, and alone. The people I loved most had conspired to destroy me. And for the first time, I realized I could trust no one. I sank onto the couch, staring at the statements. My hands trembled. "Everything I believed was a lie," I whispered. The weight of their betrayal pressed down on me, and I knew life as I knew it was over. I couldn't sleep. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw Clarissa's smile, Victor's casual grin, the ease with which they had destroyed me. My apartment felt empty, cold, even the city outside seemed cruel. I picked up my phone, hesitated, then called my mentor, Mr. Hawthorne. "Tom, I whispered when he answered. Hey, I thought I'd check in. You sound off, he replied. Off? I scoffed. They've ruined me, Hawthorne. Everything I worked for, gone. Clarissa. Victor, they conspired against me. And I didn't see it coming. There was silence on the other end. I'm sorry, Tom. I can't even. Don't be sorry. I'm angry. Humiliated. I trusted them. I believed they were good people. My voice broke. Am I stupid? Blind? You're human, he said softly. Trust isn't stupidity. Betrayal, that's on them. Not you. I laughed bitterly. Doesn't feel like that. I keep replaying every dinner, every meeting, every moment I thought we were happy. Every little sign I missed. Was it in her eyes? In Victor's tone? Memory plays tricks when we hurt, Hawthorne said. Focus on what you can control, not what you can't. I gripped the phone, feeling the tremor in my hands. Control. I've lost everything. My company, my reputation, my life. How can I control anything? Step by step. Start small, he replied. First, survive. Then rebuild. Then, decide how you want justice. Revenge or restoration, your choice. I buried my face in my hands. I can't just survive. I can't pretend this isn't happening. I feel like screaming, like breaking everything around me. You're allowed to feel it. Anger, grief, use it. But don't let it destroy you, he said firmly. I stayed silent, staring at the ceiling, the dark corners of my apartment mirroring the emptiness inside me. They laughed at me, I finally said. I was the fool, thinking I was in control. I opened my heart and my business to them. And they took it all. Pain reveals truth, Hawthorne said quietly. You see their nature now. That knowledge is power, even if it doesn't feel like it yet. I clenched my fists. Knowledge, power. Right. But I feel trapped. Isolated. I can't even talk to anyone else. Everyone else sees me as the failure, the fool who lost everything. You're not trapped. You're observing, he corrected gently. Pain sharpens perception. Anger fuels action. Channel it wisely. You'll find your spark. I let out a shaky breath. Spark. I want that. I don't know how yet. But I want it. Good. Hold on to that. You won't be weak forever, Hawthorne said. Even in despair, seeds of resolve grow. I nodded, though he couldn't see me. Seeds, right. Maybe I can use this. Not just for revenge, but to rebuild. To rise. To make them regret. Exactly, he said. Breathe. Plan. Don't act rashly. Patience wins. I sank back into the couch, staring at the ceiling. Memories of Clarissa's laughter, Victor's reassuring words, the dinners, the celebrations, they all twisted in my mind. Every smile, every touch, every promise replayed like a cruel montage. And yet, beneath the anger, beneath the humiliation, I felt it, the spark Hawthorne mentioned. A tiny ember glowed in the darkness of my despair. I clenched my fists. I will not be powerless, I whispered to myself. They can't ruin me forever. They'll pay, one way or another. And I'll be ready. Hawthorne's voice lingered in my mind after I hung up, step by step. Survive. Rebuild. Decide your justice. I looked around the apartment again. The walls felt smaller, the shadows longer, but that ember, it was alive. I would rise. Somehow. And when I did, they wouldn't just regret. They'd wish they had never betrayed me. I didn't wait. I barged into Clarissa's apartment without knocking, my hands shaking, heart hammering. She looked up from the couch, pretending calm. "Tom, what are you doing here?" she asked, voice a touch too casual. "Cut the act," I said, slamming the door behind me. "I know everything. The transfers, the meetings, Victor, everything." Her eyes widened. "Tom, you're overreacting." "Overreacting?" I shouted. "You stole from me. From my company. You plotted with Victor to ruin me." Victor stepped out from the kitchen, smirking. "Well, you caught us. Congrats." Smirking. "You think this is funny?" I yelled. "Do you even realize what you've done to me?" Clarissa's lips trembled. "We only wanted security, for ourselves. I never wanted to hurt you like this." "Never wanted to hurt me?" I repeated, voice tight. "You destroyed everything. My life, my trust, my future." Victor crossed his arms. "Tom, calm down. You're blowing this out of proportion." "Blowing this out of proportion?" I stepped closer, fury burning in my chest. "I trusted you. I let you into my life completely, and this is how you repay me. By scheming, lying, stealing." Clarissa looked away. "It wasn't supposed to go this far. I thought I was helping us both." "Helping us?" I laughed bitterly. "By taking my money? By betraying me with my best friend?" Victor rolled his eyes. "You've got to see it from our side. You weren't careful. You trusted too easily. That's on you." "On me?" I repeated, voice shaking with rage. "So I'm the fool, right? I'm the one at fault for being decent." Clarissa tried to speak, but I cut her off. "Don't. Just don't. I saw your texts, your plans. Every secret call, every meeting. How long did you think you could get away with this?" Victor shrugged. "Long enough. But hey, you caught us. That's life." I felt my hands curl into fists. "Life?" I spat the word. "Do you even know what life is? Life is building something honest, trusting the people you love. You took that from me. And now," I paused, trying to control the shaking in my voice, "now you'll see that I'm not powerless anymore." Clarissa's face paled. "Tom. I can fix this. We can." "No." I cut her off. "You don't get to fix anything. You took my choice away, my future. I don't forgive. Not now. Not ever. You'll see what it feels like to lose everything." Victor's smirk faltered slightly. "Tom, wait. Don't speak," I said, pointing at him. "You both underestimated me. You thought I'd fall apart. You thought I'd beg, cry, disappear. But I'm still here. And I'm going to rise. You'll regret this." Clarissa's lips quivered. "Tom, please. No. This isn't about begging or pleading," I said quietly, but every word was sharp. "This is about justice. Karma. And I'll get it my way. You'll see." They looked at me like I had changed, like I had transformed into someone dangerous. That was exactly how I felt, different, stronger, and burning with determination. I took a deep breath, stepping back. "I'm done being powerless. I'm done letting you control my life. From this moment on, I decide what happens next." Clarissa's eyes filled with fear. Victor's smirk was gone, replaced by uncertainty. "Good," I whispered to myself, the ember hawthorn had mentioned growing into a blaze inside me. "Because I'm just getting started." I turned and walked out, leaving them stunned, my chest heavy but my mind clear. The path was set. Revenge, reclamation, transformation, would see it all through. No one would ever betray me again without consequences. I closed the door behind me and exhaled, the old life disappearing with a slam. No more Clarissa, no more Victor, no more blind trust. I needed a new beginning, a version of myself they could never touch. "Tom, this is impressive," said Marcus, my new mentor in financial strategy. We were seated in a small, sleek office downtown, screens full of charts around us. "Impressive?" I raised an eyebrow. "I haven't done anything yet." "Exactly," he said with a grin. "You're thinking bigger than most. That's the key. You're learning fast, absorbing everything. I like it." I leaned back, letting a hint of satisfaction creep in. Learning is one thing. Applying it without getting reckless, that's another. "Smart," he said. "Most people would rush. You. Patient. Strategic. That's how you win." I smiled faintly. "Winning isn't just about money, Marcus. It's about influence. Reputation. Control. I need to be untouchable before I even think about confronting them." He nodded approvingly. "Then you're on the right track. And remember, people always reveal themselves when they underestimate you." Later, I met Laura, a consultant who would help me in social networking and psychological strategy. "You're not the same person I met last month," she observed over coffee. "I'm not," I said flatly, staring out the window. "I've lost everything." "That's one way to force transformation." She smiled knowingly. "Good. Pain refines people. You're sharper, more aware. Use it wisely. And don't be afraid to plant seeds subtly. Karma works faster than you think." "Subtlety," I repeated, savoring the word. "That's exactly what I need. No overt moves. Just influence, positioning, leverage." Laura raised her cup. "Exactly. And when the time comes, the results will speak for themselves." I nodded, letting the plan form in my mind. I had started small, reconnecting with minor investors, attending private events, learning the ins and outs of markets Clarissa and Victor had taken for granted. Each step reinforced my confidence. "Tom, you're networking like a pro now," said Dean, a minor ally I'd met at a seminar. "Your charm is subtle but effective. People notice you, even if they don't know why." I smirked. "That's the idea. Make them think I'm just another player, then surprise them when it counts." Dean laughed. "I see. This isn't just about money, huh?" "No," I admitted. "It's about proving I'm not the naive fool they left behind. It's about showing them what happens when someone underestimates me." Even in casual conversation, I tested boundaries, gauged reactions, and observed weaknesses. I made minor investments that hinted at financial growth, small gestures that broadcast competence. Clarissa and Victor had assumed I'd crumble, they had no idea I was already evolving. One evening, Marcus leaned back and studied me over the table. "Tom, the way you're handling this, it's impressive. You've got control, but your patience is what really sets you apart. The game isn't won in a week." "I know," I said quietly. "I can't rush. If I make a mistake now, everything collapses. Patience, subtlety, strategy, that's my weapon." "Good," he said. "And people like Clarissa and Victor. They'll keep exposing themselves if you wait. Arrogance is predictable." I grinned, feeling the ember inside me grow hotter. Predictable, yes. They'll make every misstep themselves. I just need to be ready to capitalize. Laura checked in the next day. "Your demeanor is changing. People are noticing your confidence without you having to say much. That's powerful." "I'm planting seeds," I said. "They won't know until it's too late. Every meeting, every conversation, it's all part of the plan. I'm careful, but deliberate." She nodded. "Keep it up. Your former self would have reacted emotionally. This version, calculated, poised. That's what will break them. I walked through the city streets later that evening, feeling the weight of transformation settle over me. The skyline reflected the life I was reclaiming. I was no longer the man betrayed, humiliated, or powerless. Each step I took reminded me of what I had lost, but more importantly, what I was about to regain. I thought of Clarissa laughing in her apartment, Victor smirking over spreadsheets. Soon, they would see the change. Subtle, unnoticeable now, but growing stronger each day. Karma doesn't need shouting, it only needs time. I clenched my fist lightly. I'm not the same person you left behind. Not even close. In the quiet of the night, I could feel my plan solidifying. Allies, knowledge, skills, networks, everything aligned. I was patient, observant, and ready. And when the time came, everything they thought they controlled would crumble. I was rising, and nothing would stop me. I sat across from Marcus in the conference room, the city lights casting a faint glow through the windows. They're sloppy, I said, tapping my pen against the table. Clarissa and Victor, they think they're untouchable. Arrogant. That's their weakness. Marcus raised an eyebrow. Go on. I've been monitoring their moves, I continued. Minor financial errors, poor public statements, careless social appearances. They assume no one notices. But I do. And I'll use it. You're patient, Marcus observed. Most people would act rashly, confront them immediately. You wait, observe, let them dig their own graves. Exactly, I said. Confrontation now would be emotional. Mistakes happen when emotions run high. Patience lets the plan unfold naturally. Lara joined us via video call. Your presence is subtle but effective, she said. At events, people notice you differently. Confidence without arrogance. It unsettles them without you needing to say a word. I smirked. Good. Let them underestimate me. It makes their fall that much sweeter. Later, I arranged a dinner with several minor investors and social connections. Victor was there too, showing off his supposed successes. I've doubled our portfolio in 6 months, he boasted, swirling his wine. Clarissa laughed. We've been very careful, she added. No one can touch us now. I smiled softly, letting them bask in their arrogance. Interesting, I said, raising my glass. Careful, yet mistakes happen even in careful planning. Did you see the report from Redwood Capital? Victor blinked, caught off guard. What report? I leaned forward, voice casual. Just a minor discrepancy. Nothing serious, but it's visible. Wouldn't want outsiders to think everything is perfect. Clarissa frowned slightly. Minor discrepancy? You're overthinking. Or I'm paying attention, I replied lightly. You see, it's the small cracks that lead to collapse. The world notices when people assume perfection. And perfection is an illusion. Their faces tightened, subtle hints of panic seeping through the confidence they tried to maintain. After dinner, Lara messaged me. They're starting to crack. Small smiles, tense gestures. Keep pressing indirectly. I nodded to myself. Every interaction, every public event, was a test. Every conversation revealed arrogance, envy, or miscalculation. I let them speak first, reveal intentions, make errors. And I recorded it all, mentally cataloging their weaknesses. Dean stopped by the office later that week. Tom, you're playing the long game masterfully, he said. People trust your judgment. Even competitors start to seek your advice. It's subtle, but your influence is growing. Good, I said. Influence without aggression is key. They won't see the change coming. Karma doesn't need shouting, it only needs time. One evening, I attended a charity gala, mingling quietly. Victor tried to corner me, forcing conversation. Tom, congratulations on the recent contracts. Seems like you're back on your feet. I smiled, nodding. Yes, it's been a learning process. You've taught me a lot about strategy, actually. He laughed. Glad to help. Your arrogance taught me more, I said softly, watching his grin falter. It's remarkable how much people reveal when they believe they're superior. Clarissa joined him, attempting to regain composure. We've always had control, she said, her tone defensive. Control is fragile, I replied lightly. Even the strongest structures crumble under the weight of miscalculation. I've seen it firsthand. They exchanged worried glances, subtle cracks appearing in their facade. Their overconfidence was exactly what I needed. Back at my office, I debriefed with Marcus and Lara. Patience is paying off, I said. Every small mistake, every overreach, they're exposing themselves. I've gained minor investors, social credibility, and key alliances, all without making a single overt attack. Marcus nodded. Calculated, deliberate. You're evolving from reactive to proactive. That's how power shifts. Lara smiled. And they have no idea. They think you're still fragile, emotionally vulnerable. Meanwhile, you're shaping the battlefield quietly. I leaned back, letting a small smile spread. Exactly. The slow game is the best game. Emotion blinds people, but time reveals truth. Dean stopped by again. Tom, some people are starting to admire you publicly. Your caution, your insight, it's noticed. I nodded. Perfect. Visibility without aggression. Influence without confrontation. Karma is patient, and so am I. Walking home later that night, I thought of Clarissa laughing with Victor at some extravagant event, unaware that every misstep was noted, every flaw catalogued. Soon, very soon, their perfect little world would begin to unravel. And when it did, I would be ready, not as the man they betrayed, but as the one who had learned, evolved, and mastered patience, strategy, and subtle power. I clenched my fist, a quiet fire burning inside. Play the slow game, I whispered. They'll never see it coming. I stared at the phone, thumb hovering over the call button. A client had almost discovered the misaligned accounts, one slip, one wrong word, and my carefully planted seeds could unravel. Tom, are you okay? Lara's voice broke through my spiraling thoughts when I finally called her. I don't know, I admitted, my voice tight. Victor almost saw the Redwood report today. If he notices the discrepancies too soon, I trailed off. Breathe, she said firmly. You've anticipated every move. One near miss doesn't ruin the plan. You're prepared for this. I know, I whispered, pacing. But what if my patience isn't enough? What if I miscalculate? Marcus's voice joined the line. Then you adjust. That's what leaders do. You've built flexibility into your strategy. Trust it. I'm not used to trusting myself, I confessed. I've always relied on the people around me. And look what that got me. Lara chuckled softly. And look what you're doing now. You're learning fast, Tom. Every close call teaches you more than a smooth victory ever could. I exhaled slowly. I just hate that feeling of almost being exposed. It's like standing on a ledge, knowing one wrong step and I fall. Dean, who had joined us for strategy updates, interjected, that's exactly why you're stronger now. Fear keeps you alert, not frozen. You're acting despite it. I nodded, pacing the office. Fine. But sometimes I wonder, am I moving too fast? Or too slow? Clarissa and Victor are unpredictable, and every interaction could tip the balance. They're predictable in arrogance, Marcus reminded me. You know that. Their flaws, overconfidence, impatience, underestimation, they reveal themselves consistently. Yes, but the stakes feel personal, I said, gripping the edge of the desk. It's more than business. I want them to feel the weight of what they did. And I want it without destroying myself in the process. That's why you plan, Lara said. You control your actions, your timing. Don't let emotion blind you. Let it fuel you strategically. I paced toward the window, the city lights blurred by my anxious thoughts. I'm learning that patience isn't just about waiting. It's about balancing caution with momentum. One wrong move, and... I know, Dean interrupted gently. That's why you have allies. We've got your back. You're not alone in this. I exhaled again, the tension easing slightly. I appreciate that. It's easy to forget that, after everything, some people actually want to see me succeed, not betray me. Exactly, Marcus said. And those who envy or doubt you? They'll only reveal themselves when it benefits your plan. I smiled faintly, thinking of a minor competitor who had tried subtly to discredit me at a networking event. Their envy was so obvious it almost made me laugh. Almost. And remember, Lara added, close calls don't define you. How you respond to them does. Every time you recover, every step you take forward despite fear, you get stronger. I know, I murmured. But it's exhausting. That's part of evolution, Marcus said. The process tests you. Weakness is revealed not to punish you but to refine you. You're evolving into someone they'll never recognize. I nodded, letting their words sink in. I'm trying to remember that when panic hits. I can't let a single moment of fear compromise months of work. Dean leaned back. It's why we trust you. You think like a strategist and feel like a human. That combination makes you dangerous in the right way. I exhaled again, pacing to my desk. Right. Dangerous, deliberate, patient. I can't allow doubt to paralyze me. The slow game depends on my resilience. Exactly, Lara said. And resilience doesn't mean perfection. It means persistence. I closed my eyes for a moment, letting the weight of their support balance my own anxiety. Persistence, I repeated. Patience, strategy, persistence. I can do this. Marcus smiled on the call. That's the mindset. Learn from the close calls, and you turn them into advantages. One near exposure isn't a defeat, it's a lesson. I see it now, I said softly. Every near miss, every stumble, it teaches me timing, awareness, control. They think they're untouchable, but I'm learning faster than they ever realized. Dean's voice echoed in my mind as I ended the call. You're evolving, Tom. Every setback, every doubt, they only sharpen you. I leaned back in my chair, staring at the faint glow of my screens. My hands were steady now, my heart still racing, but controlled. Fear was no longer paralyzing. It was a tool. I whispered to myself, almost as a vow, I won't falter. Close calls won't stop me. Every step forward counts. They won't see me coming. And for the first time in weeks, I felt the fire of determination burn brighter than the shadows of doubt. I watched the news from my apartment, a glass of whiskey in hand, the city buzzing far below. Interesting, I murmured to myself. Victor's face filled the screen, smiling nervously as a journalist questioned his recent business moves. Mr. Stone, can you clarify the discrepancies in Redwood's quarterly reports? The reporter asked, voice calm but sharp. Victor chuckled, forcing confidence. Oh, those? Minor clerical errors. Nothing substantial. My team is addressing it. I leaned back, smirking. Minor clerical errors? Really, Victor? That's all you've got? The segment shifted to Clarissa, attending a high-profile gala. A socialite whispered something as cameras captured her reaction. She smiled politely but her eyes flickered with unease. Tom, have you seen this? Lara's call came through, her tone a mixture of excitement and caution. "I'm watching," I replied. "They're unraveling in real time. Notice the forced smiles, the hesitation. Their arrogance is cracking." "Victor looks desperate," she said. "He's trying to maintain control, but people are starting to question him." "And Clarissa," I added, pointing at the screen, "her social circle is whispering. She's losing influence as fast as she thought she'd gain it. Karma has a way of showing up quietly but decisively." Marcus chimed in from the group chat. "Timing is everything. Watch their reactions over the next week. Their own people will start second-guessing them." I poured another glass, watching Victor on a live panel, stumbling through an explanation about missed deadlines. "Control is a delicate thing," I muttered. "One slip, and the whole structure falters. And falter it will." Later, I attended a charity event incognito, observing the social currents. Clarissa flitted from table to table, laughing too loudly, answering questions with rehearsed charm. I overheard snippets. "Did you hear about the Redwood report?" whispered a young investor. "Yes," another replied. "They're pretending everything's fine, but I've seen the numbers. Something's off." I smiled under my mask. The cracks were widening, subtle but visible. They believed themselves untouchable, yet even their allies were questioning competence. Victor approached a group of investors, trying to spin the narrative. "We're stronger than ever," he said, voice a touch too high. "Our recent ventures prove that." One investor tilted his head. "Are you sure? Some of the projections don't seem consistent." Victor's forced laugh faltered. "Just minor adjustments. Nothing to worry about." I stepped back, blending into the crowd, letting the tension build. Their desperation was like an aura around them, palpable, almost intoxicating. After the gala, Lara joined me in a quiet corner. "They're so predictable," she said, shaking her head. "Their own overconfidence is undoing them faster than any external attack could." "I know," I replied. "Every forced smile, every misstatement, they think charm masks mistakes, but it only highlights them. People see what they want to see, but patterns don't lie." Later that week, I attended a business seminar where Victor was scheduled to speak. I positioned myself near the back, observing. As he presented, a critical slide revealed slight financial inconsistencies. The murmurs began almost immediately. "Victor, what's this?" someone whispered loudly, pointing at the projected figures. Victor's jaw tightened. "It's preliminary," he said, voice strained. "Not finalized." I leaned against a wall, feeling a quiet satisfaction. "Preliminary doesn't matter," I murmured. "It's exposure. It's proof that control is fleeting, and they've never truly held it." Clarissa was nearby, attempting damage control on social media. Her posts were polished, but engagement metrics told a different story. Likes were down, comments questioning credibility were rising. Lara's voice buzzed in my ear again. "Even her followers are noticing. They're starting to doubt her authenticity." "Good," I said softly. "Let it crumble. Slowly, naturally. No need to rush." A few days later, Dean sent an update. "Victor is being called in for clarifications by partners. Clarissa's gala appearances are under scrutiny. Both are losing face in circles they thought controlled." I exhaled, leaning back in my chair. Power shifts quietly, sometimes imperceptibly. But the results are undeniable. That evening, I received an anonymous tip about a minor internal scandal at Victor's company, enough to cause boardroom unease. I smiled. The pieces were falling into place, almost as if they were orchestrating their own undoing. Marcus sent a message: "Patience, Tom. Let them continue. Observe. Record. Wait for the final collapse." "Yes," I whispered, eyes on my notes, tracing every misstep. "Their arrogance is their downfall. Every misjudgment, every overreach, they reveal themselves willingly. Later, at a private dinner, Lara leaned across the table. You seem almost detached. Watching them fall without lifting a finger. I shrugged. Detachment is a tool. Emotion clouds judgment. Satisfaction is sweeter when it's quiet, deliberate. Do you ever worry it's too much? She asked. I smiled faintly. No. This is balance. Patience, observation, timing. Every crack becomes a lever. I only intervene when necessary. Walking home afterward, I thought of Victor stumbling through explanations, Clarissa masking panic with laughter. They had thought themselves untouchable, yet here they were, fragile, exposed, and unaware. I whispered to the night, cracks in their world are all I need. And I'm ready for what comes next. I stepped into the boardroom, the polished floor reflecting the tension like a mirror. Clarissa and Victor were already there, seated as if nothing had changed. Their smiles were brittle, forced. I let the door click behind me. Tom, Victor said, trying to sound casual. You called this meeting. Everything okay? I let the brief pause stretch, letting the weight of my presence settle over them. Everything's more than okay, I said softly, voice calm but firm. I think it's time we review the facts. Clarissa raised an eyebrow. Facts? You mean your interpretation? I didn't respond immediately. Instead, I placed a folder on the table. I have documents, recordings, and transaction histories. Every misstep, every manipulated account, every lie. All here. Victor's smile faltered. You can't, these are private. That's legally sound, I interrupted, cutting him off. Every single one verified by auditors who are independent of both of you. Clarissa's hands trembled slightly as she reached for the folder. I pulled it back. Not yet. First, I want to hear you admit what's been happening. Tell me, Victor, why steal from me after all these years of partnership? Victor swallowed, eyes flicking to Clarissa. We thought it was temporary. Just until we could. Until you could destroy me. I finished, my voice sharper now. Is that it? Clarissa laughed nervously, voice too high. You're dramatizing. It wasn't like that. It was strategy, mutual benefit. You've always misunderstood ambition. Mutual benefit? I leaned forward. You siphoned funds, hid evidence, manipulated partners, and planned to leave me bankrupt. How is that mutually beneficial? Victor opened his mouth, then closed it, silence stretching. Finally, he whispered, we didn't think you'd notice. I shook my head slowly, incredulous. You underestimated me. Again. Clarissa's voice cracked. Tom, please, we didn't mean. You didn't mean to betray me. I echoed, incredulous. You didn't mean to ruin my career, my reputation, my trust. Victor glanced at Clarissa, guilt written on his face. It was a mistake. We didn't. You didn't what? I slammed my hand lightly on the table. Didn't think it through. Didn't expect the consequences. Didn't care. Clarissa lowered her gaze. We panicked. We made poor choices. Poor choices. I repeated, my voice rising. Do you have any idea how much I suffered? Nights I cried, days I walked pretending nothing happened. Victor's lips pressed into a thin line. We regret it. Truly. We. I raised a hand, stopping him. Regret? That doesn't undo the humiliation, the financial collapse, the betrayal. But I have proof, and now the power shifts. Clarissa's eyes filled with tears. Tom, please. We can fix this. Just forgive us. I laughed softly, a cold, deliberate sound. Forgiveness? I leaned closer. You think I can forgive this lightly? No. I've thought about it every day since discovering the truth. I've built strategy, patience, understanding. And now I choose. Victor's voice cracked. Please, don't destroy us. I let the silence stretch. I won't destroy you, I said finally. But I will not let you walk away untouched either. Clarissa's hands shook. So, what do you want? I opened the folder, sliding it across the table. I want accountability. Every action you've taken exposed, every manipulation revealed. Your allies, your partners, they all will see. And they will question everything. Victor's face went pale. That's harsh. It's fair, I said firmly. You gambled with my life, my career, my trust. I've survived, adapted, and outmaneuvered you. Now, the truth unfolds. Clarissa whispered, Tom, please, mercy. I paused, letting her words hang in the air. Mercy is a gift, I said softly. And I choose to give it, silently. You'll live, but you'll carry the weight. Every mistake, every exposed lie, every lost opportunity. You'll feel the consequences without me lifting a finger further. Victor's knees went weak. You. I cut him off. Don't speak. Just understand that the tables have turned. The power you wielded is gone. My patience, my planning, my resilience, that's where the power lies now. And it's quiet, deliberate, and unstoppable. Clarissa's tears fell freely now. Tom. I know, I said, voice almost gentle. And I've known every day since discovering your betrayal. I've watched, waited, and learned. And now. I reclaim my life. You won't destroy me again. Victor's hands gripped the edge of the table. Please, just say what you want. Revenge? Money? Status? I shook my head slowly. No. None of those things matter anymore. Satisfaction comes from watching consequences unfold naturally. Silent karma, personalized, inevitable. That is enough for me. Clarissa sobbed quietly, Victor muttered helplessly. I stood, gathering my things, eyes locked on them. This ends today. Not because I acted in anger, but because I acted with clarity. You are no longer untouchable. I turned, walking out of the boardroom, leaving them in silence, desperate, exposed, powerless. Outside, I breathed in the cool air, my chest light despite the storm inside. I had won, not with destruction, but with precision, patience, and the unwavering knowledge that truth always has its moment. And for the first time in months, I felt free. I sit by the window, the city lights blurring as rain streaks the glass. The silence is heavy, but not oppressive. It's the calm after the storm, the space where reflection finally seeps in. I let my mind wander, tracing the path from the man I was to the one I've become. I remember the shock, the betrayal, the humiliation. Clarissa's smile hiding knives, Victor's casual lies like fire spreading through paper. I remember the nights I cried alone, replaying their deceit over and over. I remember the suffocating helplessness, the anger, the despair. Every moment carved me, reshaped me, forged something unrecognizable and yet undeniably mine. I breathed deeply. The urge for vengeance once consumed me. It was sweet, intoxicating, and necessary. But I've learned that power is not in destruction alone, it's in survival, in strategy, in patience. It's in turning betrayal into a lesson, humiliation into fuel. I am stronger than I ever imagined. A soft knock pulls me from my thoughts. Alex steps inside, cautious but smiling. You've been quiet, he says. I've been thinking, I reply, voice low, steady. About everything. About what happened, what I did, and what I became. You look different, he observes. More centered. I chuckle softly. I've rebuilt more than my life. I've rebuilt myself. He nods. Do you feel at peace? Peace is a tricky word. I hesitate, searching for the truth. Not complete peace, I say finally. There are scars. Memories that sting. But I don't feel powerless anymore. I feel capable. Resilient. In control of my life. Alex smiles knowingly. That's growth. I look out the window again, the rain slowing to a drizzle. The city pulses with life, indifferent yet comforting. I let the events of the past year wash over me, the betrayal, the anger, the calculated moves, the final confrontation. Every choice, every moment led to this understanding: I am the author of my own destiny. A faint thought flickers, warm and unexpected. Someone who saw the real me, who stood by me in quiet ways, who might be more than an ally. I can feel hope nudging at the edges of my heart. Not for revenge, not for power, but for something deeper, something human. A connection, a possibility, a new chapter waiting. I turn back to Alex. Thank you, I say. For being there, for not judging, for reminding me that trust and loyalty still exist. He shrugs lightly, humble. You did the hard work yourself. I just watched. I smile, a genuine curve of relief and recognition. Yes, I did. And I've learned something crucial: closure isn't about breaking those who hurt you. It's about rebuilding yourself, stronger, wiser, unshakable. And now, I'm ready for the next step. The weight lifts slightly from my shoulders. The past is no longer a chain but a set of lessons etched into memory. I've faced the abyss, stared into betrayal, and emerged. I stand, feeling the quiet strength in my limbs. The world is wide and uncertain, but I am prepared. Prepared to grow, to love cautiously, to build and to protect. Prepared to face life not as the naive, trusting man I once was, but as someone tempered by fire, sharpened by pain, and guided by clarity. I step away from the window and into the night, the city stretching before me, filled with endless possibility. I am no longer defined by betrayal or loss. I am defined by resilience, by wisdom, by the life I've reclaimed. And for the first time in a long time, I feel truly free. I walk along the quiet streets of a city that feels like mine, though I've only recently returned. The air is crisp, carrying a sense of beginnings rather than endings. I pause at the corner cafe, watching people pass, lives unfolding without me, yet somehow connected. Alex waves from a table, smiling. Morning, he says, simple, easy. Morning, I reply, letting the warmth of his presence sink in. No pretense, no hidden agendas, just trust. I realize how rare that is, and I cherish it. I sip my coffee and let my mind drift. Clarissa and Victor are distant echoes now, their schemes and arrogance reduced to memories I no longer fear. I feel no desire for revenge, their downfall has been silent, natural, and utterly complete. Karma did its work while I focused on rebuilding myself. I smile faintly, recalling the man I used to be, naive, trusting, easily broken. That man exists only as a lesson now, a shadow I honor but do not mourn. Strength and clarity guide me instead. A soft breeze brushes my face, carrying freedom. I breathe deeply. This life is mine to shape. Every decision, every step is intentional. I feel the quiet satisfaction of a journey completed, not with loud triumph, but with steady, unshakable control. Alex glances up again. Feeling ready? I nod, letting the simple act hold meaning. Yes. For everything ahead. The sun rises, casting gold across the streets. I take a slow step forward, fully present, unburdened, unshackled. The past whispers only as memory, the future hums with possibility. And for the first time in years, I am free.